Good morning. I wanted to walk you guys through this packet tracer 12.6.6 because some people were seeming to have some difficulty with this, so I thought, well, I'll just do a video and kind of show everybody how it's done. And if you've already done this or you don't have any issues with IPv6 addressing, then you can just basically ignore this. Okay, but for those of you that want to see how it's done, I'm going to just show you here. It's not super complicated, and the instructions are pretty much step by step. So yeah, let's get started. Now, the first thing, if you look down here, what we're supposed to be doing is configuring IPv6s on the router, servers, and clients, which we've got all laid out here, and everything's already connected, so we don't have to run any wires. And step one here says configure IPv6 addressing on the router, and we're going to get to that, but as long as I'm up here at the top of the page and I can see the IP addresses for all these different devices, I'm going to go ahead and knock those out first. So first things first, let's click on the sales PC, and we'll click on IP configuration. And we're going to be looking here at IPv6 config. Okay, so our sales is supposed to have this address. So let's give it to it. Oh, put the /64 over here. And then the link local address, we don't really have to worry about, but we do have to worry about the default gateway. Now, the default gateway for all these is going to be FE80::1. Okay, so that should be all we need to do for that. Okay, now for billing, we're going to do kind of the same thing here. IPv6 address is going to be 201 DB8 113. And it's not that I just hate typing. And all these are going to be /64. And that just means that the first 64 bits are going to be the network address. FE80::1. All right, next thing is going to be the accounting server. Accounting server is going to be, let's see, 2001:DB8:1:1:4. I hope I'm typing all this in correctly. And this device does have a link local address because it is a server. And it also needs a default gateway, because without a default gateway, it can't get through the router. Okay, design. All right, design. And I'm going to cut and paste this because I'm not so confident in my vision. And default gateway FE80::1, and we'll configure this gateway address on the router in just a little bit. And engineering. And then our CAD. Our CAD server. And if you configure these things and they don't work, go back and double check your IPv6 address, because it is really easy to accidentally put an extra colon or leave out a colon or something like that. Okay, so I think we've got all 6 of those devices configured. Now down here, the ISP S000. Now in some packet tracers you will have to configure your cloud, but in this one it's locked, so I'm guessing they've already put that address in for us, and if they haven't, then we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Okay, now then, we need our router to be able to speak IPv6. And by default, IPv6 is it's available on the router. You know, there's no special command you have to do to activate it, but you do have to give IPv6 addresses to all your interfaces. So, okay, first thing we're going to do is enable IPv6 routing, and the command for that is IPv6 unicast routing. Now, as is, the router will route IPv4. That's enabled by default, but IPv6 routing is not, so we have to put that command in so that it knows what to do with IPv6 addresses. Okay, now we're supposed to be configuring gigabit 00, okay? So let's go to that interface. IPv6 address 2001 colon DB8 colon 1 colon 1 colon colon 1 slash 64. Okay? And we also need to give it a link local address. That's its address that it's going to use on the LAN. IPv6 address FE80 colon colon 1. Link local. And we're going to activate the interface. No shutdown. Okay, well, we got that done. All right, now we need interface G01. Okay, and IPv6 address is going to be, and we could either roll up the page or we could go over to our Word document where we typed this stuff in advance, which is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to look over at my Word document. DB8 colon 1 colon 2 colon colon 1 slash 64. And IPv6 address FE80 colon colon 1 link local. No shut. All right, so that's G01. Now we also need to configure our serial port S0/0/0. And this one's got an address of IPv6 address 2001 colon DB8 colon 1 colon, shoot, let me make sure I've got that right. Okay, it's 2001 DB8 1A001. Okay. Okay, we got DB8 colon 1 colon A001. looks like ::2/64. Okay, and once again, it's going to have that same link local address, IPv6 address FE80. Did I type that right? I hope so. No shut. Okay, so now we've got our router ports configured. Now we're supposed to copy our running config to startup config. Okay, so that's done. If you don't do that, then I think it'll mark off points. All right, what else are we supposed to be doing? Okay, save the config in VRAM, we did that. Configure IPv6 addresses on the servers and the clients. We already did that before we did anything else. Okay, so open the server web page from the clients. All right, well, let's see what we can do. Let's go to the sales, excuse me, web browser. And give it a minute. Okay, here it goes. All right, the URL we're supposed to type in is 2001:4. Okay, so we did it. Welcome to the accounting server. Okay, and let's see if we can do the same thing from the other devices. Okay, so we're talking to the accounting server. Now, what about the CAD server? What is the address on that puppy? The CAD server is 2001:DB8. Just copy that. Go back to our sales device. Paste, go. Okay, so we can also see the CAD server. Now, the idea is to check each one of these devices. I'm not going to make you guys sit here and watch me do that. I'm hoping that they can all speak. Okay, now ping the ISP. All right, from any old device. We're going to open up our command prompt and we're going to ping 2001:DB8:1:A001. Hopefully I typed all this stuff in correctly. Outstanding. Okay, so we get a ping reply from that ISP server. Okay, now we're supposed to repeat the ping commands with other clients and ensure we have full connectivity. Okay, so let's hope that we do. Now then, for the acid test, let's click on check results and see if we forgot anything. Okay, cool. Assessment items, and this is the part that I'm going to cut and paste, including my score. 52 out of 52, and I got all happy green checks. So it looks like we did everything in this lab that we were supposed to. Okay, so outstanding. All right, so that is just a short little walkthrough of Packet Tracer 12.6.6. If you follow these instructions, I don't think you'll have an issue. But as always, if you do, let me know. Send me an email, and I'll see if I can figure out where in your configuration you made a mistake. And it's entirely possible. Let me close this out. It's entirely possible that if you try something and it doesn't work, just check your address and make sure that that thing is exactly what it's supposed to be. Because with IPv6, it is very easy to make mistakes in here. All right, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.